All right, so on to example 2. Like I said, a little bit harder because on the last problem, it just told me right away why the value of y is going to be 9. So I did all this work to plug in to get 9, but I actually knew right away that y was 9, so I could have just plugged it in right there from the start. But the idea is still the same. I'm going to plug in information from one equation into the other equation. So I look here at my top equation. My top equation tells me that y is equal to 6x plus 5. And if this y is equal to 6x plus 5, then so must this y. The y's represent the same thing, so I can go in and substitute right there. So once I substitute the 6x plus 5 in for that y, I can rewrite that bottom equation. It's not going to be y equals 8x minus 7 anymore. I'm replacing that y. So now, once I rewrite this, it's going to be 6x plus 5 equals 8x minus 7. Notice the whole point of this really is up top I had equations that had an x and a y. They had two variables in it. But now when you look at this equation, I only have x in it. There's no more y. So now it's an equation I can solve. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 6x on both sides. That'll cancel over here. And I'll get 5 equals 2x minus 7. You can add 7 to both sides. And I'll get 2x equals 12. Divide by 2. And it should be x equals 6. Now again, that's only part of my answer. That tells me my x coordinate in my answer is going to be 6. But I'm missing the y coordinate. Now to get the y coordinate, I can go into either one of my original equations. And now that I know that x is 6, I can plug it in. So for instance, if I went into this top equation and I plugged in 6 for x, I can now figure out what the value of y is. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 5 would tell me that the y value is going to be 41. And so let me show you that on a graph. So this was y equals 6x plus 5. And y equals 8x minus 7. So it ends up going way up here. Let's see. Pretty far away from the origin, but the spot where they intersect is 641. So that is the spot where both equations have the same solution. The x value is 6 and the y value is 41. So you can do it on a graph, but I want you guys to be able to do it using the substitution method as well. So I plugged in information from the first equation into the second equation. Then I solved for x. Figured out x was 6. So I knew that this part of my answer. Then I went back into, it didn't matter which original equation, but I went back to this original equation, plugged 6 in for x, and figured out that y value must have been 41.